In a snooze fest of a performance, the Cardinals lose the final game and the series to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Let's go ahead and break out the smelling salts and wake up a little bit and try to figure out what the heck went wrong on today's episode of Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Louvre and a lifetime Cardinals fan, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter, X at JD Sports Radio. You can follow the podcast at LO_Cardinals. I want to thank those of you who do make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment and interact with us. Hit the notification button so you know when new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode being brought to you by eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home the big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. Now, if you dozed off during Sunday's game against the Diamondbacks, I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit, especially later on in the game when things really slowed down. I genuinely almost started like doing my taxes instead of paying attention to what was going on in the game. That's how boring this one got on Sunday. Yes, today is tax day, by the way, in case you were wondering. Don't give me a hard time for waiting until the last minute. And for those of you who haven't done your taxes, you better get cracking because Uncle Sam is expecting some payback. Anyway, back to the game that was on Sunday. Honestly, until the fifth inning, things were at least a little bit entertaining. Very disappointing could be a very good way to describe how it was early on, but at least entertaining. And the same things that have plagued the Cardinals throughout the first 16 games of the season. It's something that plagued them all year last year. Situational hitting, driving in guys who are in scoring position, having trouble doing it. And it's causing losses to start to add up. And for some reason, the Cardinals can't help themselves, but they're really bad at scoring runs when Mikolas is on the mound. It was brought up during the telecast how little they score when he's the starter. And for the second consecutive start and for the 33rd time in 154 career starts since Mikolas joined the Cardinals, the team didn't score any runs. None. It's an unbelievable stat that it happens that often when Mikolas is on the mound. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that when a team doesn't score any runs, they probably don't win many games either. And the Cardinals didn't score any runs on Sunday. And guess what? They didn't win either. And the frustrating part was that they had some really good chances to put some runs on the board early on against Zach Gallen, former prospect of the organization. And they just failed to capitalize on the situations. First inning, they went down without even a whimper. Like it was just boom, all of a sudden, 2 strikeouts and they're gone. It's like, wait, what? Did the inning happen? But in the second, they get a leadoff double by Nolan Arenado. Wilson Contreras then strikes out, but Newt works a walk, followed by a single by Ivan Herrera. The bases are loaded with 1 out. Now we got something going. To bring up, not Masyn Winn, but instead Brandon Crawford comes to the plate. He got the start at shortstop today, and I have fielded seemingly endless questions about why Masyn Winn is not in the lineup. Who is Masyn Winn leading the team in hitting right now? 22 years old, hitting, I think, 349 is what he's at. They want to know why Masyn Winn needs so many days off. And the simple answer, the best way I can describe it to you, is a term that was made famous by the NBA, load management. That's what the Cardinals are going with. The Cardinals have a plan in place to give Masyn Winn certain days off to keep him fresh throughout the season. That's what they're trying to do. Even though he didn't start on Wednesday, they had an off day on Thursday. Manager Ali Marmol said Masyn needs a day. We talked about it, and his body can use it. He's swinging it well, playing good defense and running the bases. He's doing everything you would want him to do, But in conversation with him, today would be a good day for him to have it off. This is going to be a long season for him, and keeping him fresh will be important. Our conversation has been good, and we agreed that today would be a good day for him to rest. That's it. That's it. It's not Ollie saying, hey, we got a good matchup here with Brandon Crawford against Zach Gallen. Let's get Crawford some at-bats. That's not what's happening. But this is why you saw Brandon Crawford in the game instead of Masyn Winn, and that's something that you will see continue to happen, that Brandon Crawford is going to get some spot starts here and there throughout the season, and the idea is just to keep Masyn Winn healthy, to keep him fresh, because he's never had to play this many games, at least the amount that they're hoping he plays in one season before. That's the idea. So, with one out and the bases loaded, it's Brandon Crawford instead of Masyn Winn at the plate. And I'll give Crawford some credit. All right. Again, we're not going to be super negative on everything that goes on with the Cardinals. There's ups and downs throughout the season, but I do want to give Brandon Crawford some credit. He had a really good at bat against Zach Gallen. The results, not what you wanted, but the at bat itself, pretty good. He falls behind quickly, 0-2, works it back, fouls some balls off, takes some tough pitches, gets the count back to 3-2. And then Gallen throws an absolute dot at the bottom of the strike zone for the punch out. Like, just a perfect pitch. It was not right down the middle or anything like it. Was the very bottom of the zone. Half the baseball was actually under the zone, but the top part hits the bottom portion of the strike zone. It's a good call by the ump. It's a strikeout. Zach Gallen's good. It's stuff like this that makes Zach Gallen one of the best in baseball. And unfortunately for the Cardinals, it was another strikeout in a key spot where putting the ball in play was a necessity right there. And then Siani grounds out 2 pitches later, and just like that, the threat's over. Fast forward. Let's go to the 4th inning. Wilson Contreras, guess what? Leadoff double. Lars Nootbaar grounds out weakly to the second baseman, but because he put the ball in play, which apparently is very difficult for the Cardinals so far this year, but he puts the ball in play, and it moves Contreras over to third base. So now you got a runner at third, 1 out. Rookie Ivan Herrera comes to the plate. We're not going to knock Herrera too much. He swung the bat very, very well so far this season. You like what you see out of the young rookie catcher. Works another full count against Gallen, but say it with me now. Unfortunately for the Cardinals, it was another strikeout in a key spot where just putting the ball in play likely scores a run there. Crawford comes up next, pops out on the first pitch he sees, and then the inning is over once again. And that was really about it for the offense on Sunday. They go into a shell the rest of the game as the D-backs pitchers retire 18 of the final 19 Cardinals hitters, and the guys get shut out for the first time this season in a 5-0 loss. The 5-run inning that the Diamondbacks put together in the 5th, we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about Miles Mikolas' part in all of this, all coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and a whole lot more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, maybe you want all three. Good for you. If you can afford it and you want that, eBay Motors has got you covered. Come on by and check it out. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you're going to find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's guaranteed fit, that means your part is guaranteed to fit every single time, or you get your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not burning cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit only available to U.S. customers. We've all been there, either as a player or a fan. It's halftime, and the scoreboard is not looking so good. Maybe you get to the 5th inning, and the scoreboard's not looking so good. You're feeling low, not sure you or your team can pull out a win. That's when you dig deep, you lift your head up, and say to yourself, time to get back in the game, pull off some bank heist, and take as much of my friends' money as I possibly can. You might be a little confused right now. That's right. The smash hit mobile game, Monopoly Go, lets you compete with your friends to get the most riches and the biggest empire. It's the Monopoly you love, but it's on your phone anytime with tons of new twists. including leaderboards to compare your progress to your buddies. And there's just a lot to do when it comes to this game. You can play on countless dynamic Monopoly boards. You can make your friends bankrupt by smashing their landmarks with a wrecking ball, which is always a lot of fun. If you're as competitive as I am, it's usually seeing your competition squeal and whine. I like that. And you can do that to them in this game. You can charge other players rent for your iconic properties. You can even work with your friends to crack open community chests and in tournaments to get extra rewards and climb the leaderboard. So get back out there, put on your game face, and download Monopoly Go, now free on the App Store or Google Play. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day and you got to turn down the volume because you can't stand all of the shouting that goes on those shows? Well, if that's the case, make your switch to Locked On Sports today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel, and it's programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all of the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. I know we're going to get a lot of comments about a lot of different topics today, so drop them in the comment section on YouTube. Hit me up on Twitter, X, and just know that your feedback is always welcome and encouraged. Even if we disagree, even if you don't like what I'm saying and you think I'm full of crap, that's fine. Let me know if that's what you think. It's okay. We can have a discussion about this stuff because not a lot of things went right for the Cardinals on Sunday, and people are upset about it. For 4 innings on Sunday, Mikolas was pretty darn good. Was out dueling Zach Gallen, if we want to be honest about things. He looked better than Gallen did. Outside of that first inning, Gallen had runners on base threatening to score the whole time, while Mikolas was just going through the Diamondbacks lineup like a knife through warm butter. Had faced the minimum of 12 batters, had only allowed 1 hit. Everything looked like they were starting to work Zach Gallen, and they were going to finally push some runs across. And with the way Mikolas was throwing, maybe the Cardinals are able to steal one here, but it didn't happen. You know, he was doing what he normally does when he does throw well. He's pumping strikes. He's keeping hitters off balance. He's using his defense to his advantage. Simple formula, but in the 5th inning, things unraveled rather quickly for Mikolas and the Cardinals. Gives up a single, then a double. So he's got second and third and nobody out. This is the bottom of the 5th inning, by the way. This is a situation where the Cardinals have sucked. They've had trouble scoring in these types of situations, specifically in the last 2 days. But good teams normally cash in when this type of scenario pops up, and that's what the Diamondbacks did. Unlike the Cardinals, they didn't strike out. They put it in play. They get a sac fly, then another double, and all of a sudden it's 2-0, which is not like, you can't come back from that. 2-0, not bad. So you're like, okay, maybe if we stop the bleeding here, everything's going to be fine. Mikolas gets the next hitter to ground out, but then back-to-back walks to the number 9 hitter, Tucker Barnhart, and then the leadoff hitter, Ketel Marte. But walking Tucker Barnhart at this point of his career, you just cannot do that. You can't. Very unlike Miles. And after the second walk to Marte, we got the bases loaded, and Ali makes the move to the bullpen. And that's how quickly things changed, from facing the minimum of 12 to all of a sudden you got bases loaded, and we got 1 out and 2 runs are across the plate, and your starter is out of the game. He summons Andre Palante from the pen, and here's where people are going to begin the whole, fire Ali chants, which is fine if you want to. Although the idea here was because Corbin Carroll was coming up the plate, left-handed hitter. Palante's got good splits against left-handers. They didn't have Matthew Liberatore, who was out this weekend. He's dealing with an illness of some sort, should be joining the team in Oakland. But that was one of the things, that the bullpen was shorthanded. Why not Zach Thompson? I don't know. But he goes with Palante, and he does everything but diffuse the situation. Like everything but diffuse it. Carroll singles, drives home 2. Ground ball him the hole between first and second. Then a wild pitch brings home another, and it's 5-0. Now you're looking at crap. We're facing Zach Gallen, and we're down 5 runs. We're in big trouble. All of these runs charged to Mikolas, by the way, making his line look rather gross considering how it started. 4 2/3, 5 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. The ERA balloons to 5.82 after 4 starts. Palante, he gives up 3 hits, but no runs are charged to him. But I think everyone can agree that his appearance was a failure as far as trying to limit the damage because he didn't limit anything. He let them all come in. So not a very good job. Ryan Fernandez got in for the final 2 1/3 innings, allows no hits, strikes out 2, walks 1. Looked pretty good. Looked pretty good. I don't know how disinterested Arizona was by the time Ryan Fernandez came in the game. I mean, it's 5-0. Again, not an unsurmountable run total that good teams can't come back on, but the Cardinals just never threatened after the top of the 5th inning. There was just nothing. There was nothing there. So here comes some stats, courtesy of Rob Raines over at STLSportsPage.com. Always a good read. The Cardinals had only 1 hit and 7 at-bats with a runner in scoring position on Sunday. And in the last 2 games, which they lost, they were a combined 2 of 17, with a man on second or third, dropping their average in those situations for the season to 224. 28 of 125 so far this year. It's got to be better. Cardinals were shut out for the first time this season, but in their 16 games, the offense continues to have problems. They have scored 3 runs or less 10 times. And after assembling this starting rotation, my everydayers can back me up on this one. I repeatedly said that if the Cardinals are going to win games this season with this kind of rotation, their offense has got to be able to keep up with scoring 4-5 runs a game. They're going to need to, because the pitching staff, outside of Sonny Gray and probably a couple of starts here or there, are not built to shut out other teams. They're built to eat innings and go as long as they can. I know you guys are tired of hearing that phrase. Gets thrown in my face all the time on Twitter. But that's the idea, is for them to go 5-6 innings and probably give up 3 or 4 runs. And then the Cardinals offense is supposed to be able to outswing the competition. And so far this year, they have not. Scoring 3 or less runs in 63% of your games is not going to get it done. It's just not how this team has been assembled. So there are a couple ways that you might be looking at this team right now. I've kind of split it up where there's 2 types of Cardinal fans right now. There's one on this side. There's one on the other side. I will describe each one of them for you. You can decide which side you think you belong in. We will be doing that next on Locked On Cardinals. When it comes to your financial future, you think you've done it all. You've saved, you've researched, you've invested all that you can. Now you need to take those investments to the next level by using what every financial great uses, Yahoo Finance. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or you're looking for that extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need, and it's all in one place. They're the number one finance destination, producing a holistic look at the financial news cycle, including breaking news, original editorial perspectives, analyst ratings, independent research, customizable charts, and so much more. Securely link your brokerage accounts for a unified view of your wealth, including 401k and other investments. A comprehensive perspective is what sets apart great investors, and it's how Yahoo Finance ensures that you've got the insight to look at your wealth in its entirety. With a community of over 90 million users each month, their real strength is helping you on your way to financial success. For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor. That's yahoofinance.com, the number one financial destination, yahoofinance.com. That's yahoofinance.com. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and it's now available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. You can find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. So, and I know that there's different layers to fans of any team, right? But if I have to split the fan base right now, this is kind of how I'm going off of what I'm getting on social media, what I'm reading in the comment sections for not just my show, but everybody else as well. that there's kind of like two groups right now when it comes to St. Louis Cardinals fans. Neither of you are wrong, by the way. Not one is right and the other one is wrong. But here's how it seems to me. You've got a group over here that has got their pitchforks. They're out. And they believe that the Cardinals, 16 games into the season, are failures, that they're failing, that they're not any good. Everyone is overrated. The hitting coach, Turner Ward, pitching coach, Dusty Blake, although we haven't had as many complaints about him this year. I wonder why. And manager Ali Marmol, they should all be fired. That they don't deserve their jobs. They need to go, and they need to be sent packing along with John Mozeliak. All right. I've gotten so many people because as the offense continues to struggle, they want Turner Ward fired. They want him gone. And I say this to pretty much everybody who writes that to me. The hitting coach can't hit for the guys. They can give you the data. They can tell you what another pitcher does. They can give you advice on what they think you should be doing at the plate. But that hitter has got to go up to the plate and execute. Simple as that. The greatest hitting coach in the world can't make you hit the ball. He can only provide you the information to make it easier for you. You've still got to go do it. So firing Turner Ward is not going to happen. None of these guys are going to get fired right now. Okay? Ali Marmol just signed an extension this offseason. He's not getting fired right now. Now, the Mozeliak argument is one I struggle with a lot because he drives me bonkers with some of the stuff he does. I mean, this is a guy who fired a manager of the year winner and Mike Schilt and did it after a season where he was up for the award again. Philosophical differences made the split unavoidable. Nothing we could do about that. But that sucked because people liked Mike Schilt. He has traded away a number of players for different reasons at different times. But some of the names that that he's shipped out, pretty big. Cy Young winner in Sandy Alcantara, who is out for the year, Tommy John surgery. The guy that beat the Cardinals today, or I should say Sunday. Zach Gallen. Jordan Hicks is now thriving as a starter with the San Francisco Giants. Jordan Montgomery is going to be with the Diamondbacks here real soon. Had to trade him. Tyler O'Neill currently leads the league in home runs with 7 and leads the league in OPS. Randy Arozarena, Lane Thomas, Adolis Garcia. Heck, Marcell Ozuna, who cost them Alcantara and Gallen. That's the guy that they got in return for that big trade with the Braves now. Tied with Tyler O'Neill for the home run lead with 7. He leads Major League Baseball in RBIs with 21. He's first in slugging, second in OPS. And this is after a 40 home run, 100 RBI season last year. So I get it when you guys are mad at John Mozeliak. Trust me, I get it. It's very frustrating. It's very annoying. It's hard to believe that number of guys who are just crushing it with other teams used to wear the Cardinals uniform, and for totally different reasons for everybody involved, don't anymore. They're helping other teams win. And while you're at it, these people also say they should sell the team to someone who wants to win. They feel like that the Cardinals organization is not in it to win anymore. They just want to make money, and they want them to go buy all the players from all the other teams and make a super team. So that's one side. That's one side where everything the Cardinals are doing, it's wrong. And there's nothing you can do to change your mind. Then there's the other side of it, where instead of living in the past, which isn't easy when you see all those names that they have shipped out, where, you realize that this roster is what it is. You try to see what you have now and what they possibly could eventually become here in 2024. The one thing the Cardinals thought they could count on coming into this year, the one thing that they didn't think was going to be a question mark, was the offense. And that's been the source of most of the problems so far. So yet to break out from their slumber. And despite the struggles of Paul Goldschmidt, still hitting under 200. Jordan Walker hitting under 200. No home runs. Nolan Arenado's really struggles, although he seems to be coming out of it. Looked pretty darn good in the series against the Diamondbacks. Victor Scott, I mean, what do we expect? But he's hitting under 100. They were not getting anything offensively from the center field position right now. Even when Siani plays, he's not doing anything. Great defensively, both of them, but nothing coming from the offensive side of things for the center fielders so far. There's been injuries. Lars Nootbaar just came back. Tommy Edman, Dylan Carlson, Sonny Gray, who will start Monday night. Keenan Middleton, Riley O'Brien, Matt Carpenter. Wilson Contreras was down for a little bit with the hand. We lost Donnie for a game because he was beat up. Liberatore was ill this weekend, unavailable. You can look at all of these things that I'm listing on this side of the line and say, well, you're just making excuses. Everybody's got problems. And you can say that, and that's fine. Or we put this spin on it. You could say, wow, despite all of that I just listed that has gone wrong so far, the team is still 7-9. And mind you, that's against some pretty good competition. It's not like they've been playing a bunch of cream puffs early on this season. They haven't been getting the Nationals and the White Sox and any of the other teams like that have been struggling. It's been some pretty good teams so far. Outside of the Miami Marlins, who have had a dreadful start due to all the injuries to their team. But outside of them, everybody they've played has been pretty good. I mean, the Phillies have underachieved so far, but that's still a pretty good team. And you had to face Wheeler and Nola, their two top pitchers in that series. Beat one of them. But what I'm trying to say here is that glass half empty, glass half full. You decide on which way you want to view it. But there's two ways to look at it. And we're only 16 games into a very long, and I mean a very long, 162-game season. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But if your expectation for this team, I just want to throw this out there. If your expectation for this team was to win around 85 games, which is what most people predicted, around 85 games is where they would be, then the Cardinals aren't really that far off from being that team, all things considered. Add a couple of players who haven't been healthy, put them back in the lineups. That way you're not using people like John King. You're not using people like Andre Palante. I mean, injuries suck, and every team goes through it. But when this team is fully healthy, they are capable of being that 85-win team, in my opinion. And I think you've seen glimpses of how good they can be, and they've had some tough losses here. And if the offense gets going, and we all think it will, at least most of us think it will, we think some of these games that they're losing by 1 run, 2 run, they're going to win those instead. And hopefully the starting pitching continues to be a brighter spot than it was last year. I mean, I get it. Mikolas' line at the end of the day, not great, but pretty awesome for about 4 innings. And then it kind of fell apart. So same thing with Gibson the other day. Gibson's doing fine until the home run, the 3-run bomb to Gurriel on a pitch that was low and in. He hit a bad pitch. Like, it wasn't even a strike. Not even close. And he hit it out of the park. The Oakland A's are next. Now, they've got their own drama going on, in case you haven't heard, with their ownership, City of Oakland, City of Las Vegas. They're going to be playing in Sacramento next year. Like, it's bonkers how much stuff is going on with them. But many predicted that the Oakland A's would be the worst team in baseball because of all of the outside issues. And yet somehow here they are at 7-9 to start the year and have won 6 of their last 8. So the Cardinals aren't going to get just the pushover Oakland A's that we thought we were going to get. They've got a team that's actually kind of believing in themselves right now. So they better be ready, because this isn't going to just be some walk in the park or some walk in the Coliseum in front of like 800, 900 people, because nobody goes to their games anymore. But we'll see. These are the types of teams, though. The Oakland A's are the types of teams that you got to win 2 of 3 from. You can't be losing series to them. And if that happens, woof, the Pitchfork group is going to get really loud real fast. Sonny Gray versus Ross Stripling in Game 1 tonight in Oakland. First pitch will be at 8:40 St. Louis time. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on Twitter X at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Like and subscribe on YouTube to help our channel and love for the Cardinals grow. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason, no matter which side you're on. You're all great in your own ways, and I'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.